Alright, boys and girls, we're going to jump into our second day of line plots. This is actually going to be a 3-day lesson because today I'm going to review how to make a line plot and answer some questions. And then we're going to do an introduction of how to measure with a ruler. And once you learn to do that, we'll kind of combine measuring and line plots together. Alright, so I have some data for you. It is the names of people in my family and their favorite ice cream flavor. So I'm going to make a line plot from this information. So remember, a line plot just looks like a number line. All right, so here's my line plot. I need to title this. So I'm going to say, I could say just what I have here. Favorite ice cream, cream flavors, and just move it in the middle. Okay. Now on the bottom is the possible data categories I have. So the other day or yesterday we had numbers of the ages of people at the party. Today we have different flavors. So let's see how many flavors I have. Vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. That's 3. And mint. That's 4. And those are my 4 flavors. So I am going to have 4 different, let's say, buckets or columns. So this one we'll name vanilla. And here we'll put chocolate. I can spread these out a little more. Oh, chocolate. Let's try to make it even. Like that. Okay. Then we have strawberry. And then last but not least, mint. So notice I put a title on my graph so far, and now I am labeling the possible choices. So if these were ages like they were yesterday, those ages would go at the bottom. Okay, so now I need to figure out how many X's to put above each flavor, and I need to look back at my data for that. So let me make an X. Oh. Okay, here's my X. I'm just gonna copy it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through and find out how many vanillas I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So a line plot is just the frequency. It's counting the frequency of each of these flavors, or as of yesterday, each of the numbers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 people that liked vanilla. So I'm going to put 7 X's above vanilla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, one of the things I do suggest is also crossing out the data so that I don't get confused. So I'm going to cross out that I did it. That way I can just focus on what I still have to do. Okay, so now I need to count how frequent do I find chocolate on this list for data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I'm going to have to put 6 X's above chocolate. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I have to cross out that data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so now I am going to figure out how frequent or how many people chose strawberry. 1, 2. I only have 2 strawberries, so I'm going to put 2 X's above strawberry. And cross that out. And that leaves me with just mint. And for mint, I have 1, 2. I also have 2 for mint. So 1 and 2. So here's my completed line plot. Notice all the X's stand for is how many people chose that as their favorite ice cream flavor. So now let me go and answer some questions. I put some questions here so you get an idea of the types of questions that they'll ask you. So it says how many people's favorite ice cream flavor was vanilla? So we count the X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to write it in a number sentence. So I'll say 7 people chose vanilla as their favorite ice cream flavor. All right, now let's look at the second question. How many people's favorite flavor was mint or strawberry? I like this question because it's a little tricky. So if it says mint or strawberry, it means you're counting how many mints and how many strawberries, because it tells me, well, 4 people liked mint or strawberry, because I have 2 and 2, so 2 and 4. So 4 people chose mint or strawberry as their favorite. Okay. Which ice cream flavor was liked the least? How do you know? So, this one's a little tricky because if I notice here on the graph, on the line plot, I have 2 that were liked the least, strawberry and mint. So that's what I'm going to write. So I'm going to say strawberry and mint were the 2 flavors liked the least. But did I answer both of my questions? I did not. So now I need to answer my second question. I know this because they have the least amount of X's. They only have 2. So those are some types of questions that you might see when you are making a line plot like I did here. It's the same thing. You're just counting the frequency of each one of the flavors, or each one of the numbers. So now what I'm going to do is I want us to look at a ruler. And we're going to start to make a line plot tomorrow on how to measure and use those measurements to make a line plot. So what I want you to do is, here's a ruler. It goes up to 6 inches. But I want you just to focus on here. From this beginning to this, to the 1. Now, if I were to ask you to measure something, so let's say I want you to measure this line. Let me make the line. And I say, measure it to the closest 1/4 inch. Now, we've done fractions before, but I want you to think of this over here as a number line, just from 0 to 1, like we did with fractions. So I'm actually going to make a copy of it. Okay, and I want you to think of this as a number line. So I would have 0 at the beginning, And already it's here, but I'll write it again, 1 at the end. All right, I hope you remember that. I'm sure you guys remember that from fractions. Now, notice there are spaces in between from 0 to 1. So that should help us to label the number line. Well, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, that means I have 4 total parts. So this dash would be 1/4. The next dash would be 2/4. And the next dash would be 3/4. Just like we learned in class. There's spaces in between, so you count how many total parts you have in the whole. In this one whole, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1 out of 4 equal parts, 2 out of 4 equal parts, and from here to here, this is 3 out of 4 equal parts, and from here to here, even though this is 1, we also learned that 1 is a whole. One whole is it has the same numerator and denominator. So this is 1, or it'd be 4/4. So that's the same for all of these. Since these are 1, 2, 3, 4, this would be 1 1/4, 1 2/4, 1 3/4, 1 4/4, or 2 wholes. So keeping that in mind, and if I say this is my line, I want to measure it, I'm going to bring the line up here and I'm going to put it right above. If I were to measure it to the nearest fourth, it would stop right about here. So if I know that these little dashes are fourths, I can go to my whole, which is 3, and I could count just one dash. The first dash in the whole is 1/4. So this one would be 3 1/4. So just to recap, think of this as a number line. One has 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Think of all of these. From here to here is a number line. From here to here is a number line. From 2 to 3 is a number line. From 3 to 4 is a number line, and so on. And then think, well, how is that number line divided? Is it divided into eighths? Is it divided into thirds? Is it divided into fourths? In this case, this ruler was divided into fourths. So I get to 3, and the first dash I know is 1/4. So this line is 3 1/4 inches. Or no, feet. Sorry, this ruler is in feet. All right, so let me go to your assignment. So you are going to go on Khan Academy. Now, I did send in messages on Dojo, the login for that, but I'm going to try to share with you on your own document and your own shared with me folder your username and passwords, but you can always message me and I can send it to you. You're going to have assigned to you the line plots. So I assigned this, which is to measure length to the nearest 1/4, which is what I just showed you. And it says, what is the height of the sunflower? So like I did, remember, here's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, or 1 whole. And you have to think of that when you get to here. How tall is this? So if this is 5, I'm thinking this is 5, and it goes to this first line. So it would be 5 1/4. So you're going to practice on here. And then I also sent you a video on how to graph data on line plots, which is just to review what we did, but it'll be similar to what we're doing tomorrow.
Let's get a little practice doing the Khan Academy exercise, marking data on line plots.
So like I said, here we're going to be using measurements that we take, and we're going to use that to create line plots. So like I said, all you're going to do is you are going to sign on to Khan Academy. If you ask your parent to go to their message that I sent them earlier, when we first started doing online learning, I did send a picture with all of your passwords, but you can always message me for that information as well. and your math assignment is here. So it says view lesson on YouTube. Go to Khan Academy like it says in the video and complete assignment on Khan. Visit the following sites, and here are the sites that you can go on afterwards. Be sure to tune in at noon for the code for the quizzes at noon. I think we're going to practice multiplication today or addition. I'll pick one. And you can practice against the whole third grade. I share the code with Miss Bailey and Miss Ortiz, so they're going to send it to their students.